I'm not going to hold that.
Oh no, he's right there.
I think he's been pretty good.
Yep. No, I agree.
Has he been excellent? No, because if he was excellent, he would have made that save. But he's been really good and above average for what he showed in the first series against LA when he got pulled.
So, you've been in so many of these playoff series. What type of adjustments start to happen after a couple games when you go from home to the road? Well, what are you looking at doing differently as a team?
Well, I think, and Nick can attest to this, sometimes you want to get on the road. Especially in the Stanley Cup Finals. You're away from all the pomp and circumstance. You're away from all the family and all the craziness, and you're at the hotel with your teammates, immersed in preparing for what you need to do and how you need to perform and how you need to execute, and thinking about the subtle changes maybe that the coaching staff's going to put into place, or what you can do if you're a centerman, what you can do on faceoffs better. If you're a defenseman, how can you get the net, use the net, how can you clear from the front of the net, all the little details, all those little intangibles that the casual fan doesn't really pick up on, and those subtle adjustments of the defenseman not standing in the crease or having their feet near the blue paint, but moving up a foot or two so that those cross ice passes from side to side aren't hitting your feet in front of the net. I always had a hard and fast rule that I needed to be at least 2 feet outside of the blue paint. If I'm standing there, jostling with an opponent, trying to move him from the front of the net, or take a stick away, what have you. We've seen a lot of pucks go in off defensemen this playoff over the course of what are we at, 80 games or whatever it is, all the way up and down. And there's been a lot of goals scored off defensemen's feet, legs, whatnot. And at this juncture, in this stage of the playoffs and Stanley Cup Finals, you want to try to negate any small issue like that happening on your watch.
Prongs, just one more quick one for me, as Sammy's telling me we're squeezing a little bit of time here, but I really value your opinion as a top defenseman in the league over many, many years on what Seth Jones is doing right now and where he came from out of Chicago, where he was kind of, his career as a top defenseman was kind of dead and buried over there, and now all of a sudden he's doing what he's doing. And sometimes is it just about putting a guy in a situation to succeed?
Well, I think you're walking into a room that has the winning pedigree and the culture. You don't come in there and try to change them to you. You're going in and you're changing your outlook. You're changing your mentality to the people in that locker room and the culture that they've created, from the head, from ownership to management to the coaching staff to the star players that are in that locker room that have already won, and they're now bringing you along for the ride and trying to win another one. I think it's provided a new glimmer of hope in his career that he probably felt was fading in Chicago, losing, listless every night. And I think his attitude was lowered to that standard, which was we're going to lose every single night. And now the standard is we're going to win every single night, and we're going to compete. And as we know with the Florida Panthers, they're going to drag everybody into the fight every single night. And just knowing and preparing every game that you never know what's going to happen on the ice with them. And the physical side of it, big guy, he needs to use his body, his skating ability, jumping up in the attack, providing offense, and then the way he defends, long stick, mobile, able to cut down the ice in half and really kind of segment the defensive zone and force his man in the corner where he can then create turnovers and use his good stick. So he's been, I think he's been a little bit better, as I mentioned earlier, throughout the course of the playoffs, but I think he's been better maybe than they expected at this stage of him getting there. He didn't get off to a great start when he was in Florida. And, I think it, as we know, it takes a little bit of time to adjust to a new system, new style, and also the compete level that they bring each and every night is going to be a lot different than what he saw in Chicago.
Awesome stuff as always on our show, man. We really appreciate your time. Prongs, thanks for doing this. Enjoy the game. Game 3 tonight, Florida Panthers.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oilers. That is the one, the only Chris Pronger. One of the best to ever suit up on any blue line.
Yeah. No, he's bang on with a lot of that stuff. I like the part about being 2 feet in front of the crease when you're conducting those battles.
Yeah.
Got to be aware where you are.
Yeah,
Guys
Sam
looking to
Bennett.
fall.
Sam Bennett is such a dirtbag.
It's so funny how
But
it's like if you were a parent, you'd be like, "Oh, stop it! We know exactly
every
what you're
game.
doing."
You can't win without dirtbags.
No,
And that's why I'm saying that
Right.
I'd like the Leafs to pay him $10 million to do it.
You need a dirtbag in Toronto, Sammy, so badly.
Yeah, I know. I'm fully aware.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Just like, Florida has 3 UFAs that are kind of dirtbags, and every one the Leafs are just like, could we have one of them?
Please?
Send us a bag of dirt.
How about we sign Jason Spezza instead? Anyways, game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app, latest odds, and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. It's 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Pretty surprising line tonight for the hockey game.
Let me guess.
Florida Panthers,
Favorites. Minus 130.
they are minus 140 favorites. The Edmonton Oilers are plus 120 in this hockey game tonight. I'm just going to see what the actual series is at. So it's pretty close. It's minus 105, minus 115, minus 105 for the Oilers, minus 115 for the Florida Panthers. So they think tonight is not necessarily a deciding factor. But, I mean, I had this stat in the lineup here that when a best-of-7 Stanley Cup final is tied 1-1, the winner of Game 3 holds an all-time series record of 23-7. 767 winning percentage.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big number. I know it's historical. I know it doesn't necessarily matter as much, but
No, that matters.
to me, that's a huge number. And I don't know. I just think anytime you can get this version of the Edmonton Oilers as a plus 120 underdog, feels like something you got to take.
I wonder, though, this Hyman thing matters.
It does.
It really
But they've
matters.
scored. They've scored in the game.
No, I know, but he's their guy who falls on the goalie, and he's their guy who punishes
sure,
their D on the
sure.
forecheck.
Fair
And
enough.
like, as the series goes on, they have Kane, they have some guys who do it. Frederick's supposed to do it.
But where is Brown in game 3 to 7 potentially? And where is Kapanen potentially from now to game 7? So those are the kind of question marks, but they just help. It might not be enough. They gotta turn themselves into poor man's Hyman for the Oilers. Can they hit a window of 7 to 10 days where they're playing out of their minds? Because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, I think Kapanen can. I don't know. He's
a gifted player.
He's got the talent, the ability.
Yes.
I would say over the course of his career,
The
there's been
strength.
frustration that he can't quite be what he can be at his best. I think he's taking care of himself. He's trying to seize an opportunity here. He could be a guy.
And just looking at anytime goal scorers for tonight, been a lot of talk. Maybe we'll play the clip of about Alexander Barkov, such Barkov. 0 points through the first couple games, -4. Of course, Paul Maurice gave a smarmy answer about it.
Smarmed it right up.
But I would give me a Alex Barkov anytime goal tonight at plus 220. Gets off the schneid and he gets one on home ice. So that's my shot for an anytime goal scorer. And that was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app, latest odds, and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. That's 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, still plenty more on the Real Kipper and Bourne Show. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about a potential 3-way trade that the Leafs may not have been involved, Sammy.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing edits on my Twitter account. Leafs Latest. It's like an account that just aggregates everything. I mean, I love it because it just really lays everything for me. But today I saw an edit of Mitch Marner in a Florida Panthers uni. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Anyways, we can talk about Marner. If you want.
Also, some news out of Ottawa where their owner, Michael Anlauer, said he won't commit to spending full salary cap, and whether or not this was a good idea or not.
So that's always tough. We're a small market team, he says.
Save it. We're going to break, Sammy. Back for more Real Kipper and Bourne.
Melnick just dropped.
Sammy's itching here, folks. Don't go away. As a reminder, this hour, Real Kipper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kiprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. All right, we kind of left off on the Ottawa Senators, so let's pick that up, Sammy. Ottawa owner says he won't commit to spending full cap, and that, and a quote, as it stands right now, our cash over cap is higher.